My first boyfriend was in year 2, and it's actually a really lovely story.
Mate, you started so young.
Started early, yeah, a player from a young age, but
You haven't changed one bit as well. Hey, I'm L Devine, and you're listening to Growing Pains. So I'll just tell you a bit about what this is. I'm a singer-songwriter. My main inspiration when it comes to songwriting are my experiences navigating through adolescence. So I decided it would be a cool idea to invite friends, family, and just generally cool people to the recording studio and chat about their own coming-of-age stories. Today I'm with one of my best friends, Chloe Hughes, who also just happens to be a total creative goddess. A couple of years ago, she created her own website called Baby OK, which is an amazing community for young women to talk about sexual and mental health and basically all things awkward. In these days, she's directing music videos and doing creative direction on videos for Dua Lipa, Khalid, Calvin Harris, the list goes on.
Hey.
Yeah, so I thought to break the ice, I wanted to see a photo of you when you were an awkward teen.
I've got one.
If you've got one with you, that would be great.
I've brought one with me. So this picture I've got here, I think I'm going to say about 13 years old.
13. You look 13 going on like 20 though. You look good.
I looked really old, like straight out the womb. I'm at a bus stop on the way to a party.
13?
Yeah.
You started young.
Started raving from a young age, and I have dip-dyed hair. I shaved half the side of my head with a leg
Undercut.
razor.
Love that.
Because someone outside McDonald's said it would be a good idea, so I did it. I had no eyebrows, and...
Let me see. You got good back. Okay, yeah, maybe they are.
Yeah, a little bit of over-tweezing, and I had a braid as well, so,
I feel like
height
you were
of
cool.
fashion.
I feel like you were pretty cool. If you were at parties at 13, you were definitely cool. Who was that person in the photo?
When I was about between the ages of 13 and 15, I was an absolute wild child. Like, I was absolute trouble. I used to just go out all the time.
Did you get told off by your parents a lot then?
Yeah, it was absolute nightmare. Me and my mum had a bit of a clashing at that time, but now we're like BFFs. But yeah, I think you have to sort of go through those sort of like naughty phases to sort of grow up a bit. I'm sort of glad that I did that while I was younger, because now I feel like I'm like much more like grounded and I don't just like go out and disappear for 3 days,
True. And like never went through. I did. I mean, I went to house parties, but I definitely wasn't like 13 going out at bus stops, drinking at bus stops. But what was your drink of choice when you're that age then?
A little WKD. Oh
yeah,
no, actually,
classic.
Don't promote drinking at underage. But
It's fine.
I feel like I grew up like in the countryside, so that's all we did. We used to just like go to. There was like no clubs, there's no bars. Like you couldn't like sneak into anything. Like you just like used to go to people's fields and like camp.
Yeah, that's a thing, isn't it? I never did that. I don't know why, but I don't know. My sister did that though. They would just like go to fields and get what's called Lambrini.
A little bit of Lambrini.
Yeah, a bit of Lambrini, yeah. Like £1 for like a litre of Lambrini or something. Yeah, and they'd go in fields and get drunk. But like I feel like I really missed out on that. I feel like after this we should go to a field and
should just go to a field with a couple of Smirnoff Ice. It'd be lovely.
Yeah. Any embarrassing moments from that age?
Oh my god, so many embarrassing moments. I mean, as I just mentioned, I shaved half my head off. That was not a good shout at all. What else did I did? I ran away to Wales once to try and be with a boy that I thought I loved.
Expand on that story, please. I don't.
So,
wait, how old were you when you ran away to Wales?
I think I was about 15, and I met a boy also outside McDonald's.
Can we name drop him or we not?
No, we can't. In case he's listening.
Okay, we'll give him a fake name. He's called Fred.
Oh, so me and Fred, yeah, and just got on quite well, and then I just decided, I just want to live.
How did you meet him at 15? How do you meet
outside
boys?
McDonald's.
Outside, was he the boy that told you to shave your hair?
Different boy,
different boy. God, okay, different boy, different story.
Every single day after school, me and my friends used to go to McDonald's and like just sit in McDonald's. We didn't even eat, just like sit in McDonald's for hours and just like see who came in, and
feel that.
That's how you'd meet everyone.
At McDonald's?
Yeah, at McDonald's.
Okay, that's cool. So wait, you ran away to Wales. Explain the story.
Yeah, so I told... Oh God, it's really naughty this. My mum hears this. I told my mum I was staying at my friend's house, and I got a 2-hour bus to Wales to go be...
So tell everyone where you're from, because I feel like
Yeah.
I didn't know how far away you were from Wales, so in my head I'm like,
So I grew up in Cheshire, which is like between like Liverpool, Manchester, and there's like a little town, you know, you sort of knew everyone there, and so Wales there was North Wales, which was about like 40 minutes, and then like Wales, which was like 2 hours, but
okay, so you went to North Wales, met this boy,
yeah.
and then what happened?
Just like
was
ran
it,
away.
Was it love? Are you still with him now?
No. I wish. No, I don't. No, I went, and then I stayed there for like a day, and then, oh, this is awful, and then my mum called me, and I was like petrified to answer the phone, and you know that ringtone that's like no, and that was like playing, and it woke me up, and it still gives me like chills to this day.
PTSD.
Yeah, literally PTSD. And I like answered it, and my mum was like, oh, I'm like in the area, I'll come pick you up from your friend's house, and I obviously wasn't there, so I was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, no, it's fine, I'll get the bus. And then she was like, no, it's fine. So she went to the house, and then my friend's mum was like, Chloe's never stayed here. So
your mum found out about it? I thought you said she didn't.
well, no, and then I had to pretend that my boyfriend's dad was her dad.
Classic.
Put him on the phone, and then...
Oh wait, the boyfriend's dad. I feel like that's such a thing. Like we would always get our like boyfriends to like go on the phone and be like, pretend to be the dad, pretend to be the dad, and put on like a proper macho voice. And our parents would just be like, this isn't.
Yeah, and then I just like got a bus home, and my mum picked me up from the train station. She still doesn't believe me to the day. Actually, over Christmas,
so
she asked
funny.
me. She was like, "What happened that time?" And I was like, oh, "I don't know."
It's amazing. I love that. I take it that wasn't like your first boyfriend then, was it?
No.
Or was it?
My first boyfriend was in year 2.
God.
And it's actually a really lovely story.
Mate, you started so young.
Started early, yeah, a player from a young age. But
you haven't changed one bit as well.
But it was Valentine's Day in year 2, and I remember it very, very clearly. And there was one boy got me I remember it so well, he got me a Valentine's Day card with a glittery devil on it that says "You're hot," which his mum obviously bought him.
Oh my
so it's
god.
a bit, you know.
Yeah, too. That's a bit cheeky for year 2.
And a little teddy bear that was carrying some jelly beans. And he was like, "Yo, Chloe, like, really fancy you." And I was like, "Oh, so nice."
Yo, Chloe, I really fancy you. Is that how it went down?
Yeah. And he was like, "Excuse me." And then another boy, who, his name was Jack, came over and was like, "I've actually like really liked you since like nursery." And I like thought the other guy.
No way.
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, the other guy's like well better." And then I ignored the guy that gave me the jelly beans. How mean.
Oh, man. Do you regret that to this day?
Probably.
Could've
Yeah.
been
But
the
then
one.
me and the other guy went to was that a theme park? Not Thorpe Park. It was like one of those.
Chessington. Wait, no, that's
I don't know what it was called. Can't remember what it's called, but it was like a little amusement park.
Mm-hmm.
And on the way back home on the coach, I had a really big gobstopper, and I was like trying to get through all the colours, and my tongue started to bleed. So he gave me some pineapple juice to, you know, sort of soften the bleeding, and I thought that
pineapple juice. I swear
true
pineapple
love.
juice is like the one thing that like everyone's like subtly allergic to, and that makes your tongue like peel.
Oh, but that's all the poor boy had on him.
The poor boy. Oh, that's romance, so it's fine. It's
Yeah, so that was true love to me.
That's so cute. And then when was your first kiss?
My first kiss, actually my first kiss was, I don't know if I could say it's late, but my first kiss was in either year 7 or year 8, and it was at a school disco.
What was it like? Just a little peck, or was it?
Oh no, it was
full tonguage.
I don't think it was full tonguage, but it was definitely, you know, a little bit of a smooch.
That's fun.
Yeah, and I remember so clearly in year 7, like a guy like kissed this girl on like her forehead, and it was like the talk of the town like all day, and I was so jealous. I was like,
that's a bit cringe, that kiss on the forehead.
I know, but I was like, that was like the ultimate gossip at the time.
That's cute. So first kiss, yeah, 8. Mine was in year 7. My first kiss was around the back of Story Carpets at the Silver Link. If anyone from Newcastle is listening, it wasn't good.
Was it romantic?
Was it romantic? Behind the back, like, it was literally in, like, the staff exit of Story Carpets. No, it wasn't romantic. It was horrible. But, you know, you got to get those things out the way sometimes, I feel like. Well, I feel like that's what we thought anyway, that we need to get everything out the way.
Yeah, 100%.
Did you feel, like, pressure to, like, be kissing loads of boys and, like, doing stuff at, like... If you were going to parties when you were 13, I definitely felt like... I can't be the last one to snog.
No, definitely. And I feel like my like in my year at school there was definitely like a larger group of friends, and there was like a smaller group of us that were like really like crazy, and we were like going out, like, you know, we were like friends with a lot of older people, And then there was like my other group of friends that weren't really into that, and I know that they like felt a lot of pressure. They were like, oh, like we've got to like go out and like do all this stuff. And it's crazy that people like think that, because like when you're like 16 and you've not like, you know, done bits, you feel like so awkward. But like,
I know,
there's time, guys, there's time.
I know, totally, but you don't believe that when you're younger. No, I try to tell like all my like younger members of the family, like, don't do that.
Don't rush it, man, because when I see people now that are like 14 and they're like going out, I'm like, oh my god, you're so young.
I mean, I didn't do it as bad, so I feel like I'm kind of just starting to like be like, oh, I actually like going out clubbing and dancing and being with my mates. But it's all, I think it's like, you know, all about being with the right people and like
safe environments.
Safe environments, guys. Did you have any like really awkward sexual mishaps when you were growing up?
I'm sure there's absolutely loads. The one time was actually, to continue on this whale story, in the morning I woke up and I didn't feel too good. Gave him a kiss goodbye and just threw up all over him. That was an exquisite
proper
moment.
Mean Girl style.
Yeah,
so
really.
Good.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh no.
God, what can I even think of? There must be so many. Now my mind's gone blank.
Well, no, it's like, I mean, I just asked because like you started Baby OK, and I feel like the whole centre point around that is like, you know, kind
awkward
of
moments,
awkward moments, and having like no shame in that, because like if you knew like I guarantee every one of my friends has got like an awkward sex mishap, and I just wondered, is that why you made Baby OK? Is because of that? Well, could you actually tell people a bit about Baby OK?
Yeah, Baby OK is like a little ongoing project of mine that I started a few years ago. Basically the reason that I sort of started it is like I was sort of lucky enough to sort of have like quite a good friendship group while I was at school, but I also still felt like in my own mind like quite isolated.
Yeah.
But me and my friends like were quite like open about like talking about like stuff and like always chatting, and I sort of like looked at it from a point of view like, imagine if you weren't having these conversations. Like imagine if you were growing up and you literally had no one and you didn't know any of this stuff. And
it's true. There is people out there that...
Exactly. And then these things are happening and you're just like, oh my god, am I like, is this normal? And I just thought it would be really interesting because like so many times as well, like when I was younger, I'd like Google like, is this normal? Like, am I dying? And it would be like Yahoo Answers, and it'd be like Sharon 45 from like Milton
You are
Keynes.
dying.
Yeah, like being like, yes, you are. Like you're pregnant and you're gonna have 8 children like tomorrow. So I just like wanted to do that and just like wanted to sort of just like make it like a cool as much as it can be, but like,
no, it totally is cool.
Like a really like visually like fun place to go to like find information that's like friendly and not too scientific and just like talking to your mate sort of thing.
That's how I like found out about you and how we started working together, was from Baby OK. But also it's just I'd never really seen anything like it, where it was kind of like all the stuff behind like sex education at school and like the stuff that actually goes on that we need to talk about.
100%.
Like, you know, the grosser part of getting your period, like queefing is even on there. Like we need to talk about this shit, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's so many embarrassing things that I think even we keep from our friends as well. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you even talk about that, like navigating toxic relationships and friendship groups and dealing with bitchiness, which I think like both of us probably still deal with all the time.
Still to this day, exactly.
Did it ever give you any like self-realizations when you were talking about, you know, like about mental health and stuff and other girls' experiences with mental health? Did it ever make you be like, oh yeah, I've learned this about myself actually?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've had like a lot of struggles with like mental health like growing up, and I feel like, as I said, like I feel like I grew up very early. Like I felt like I was like 40 by the time I was like 16, so I've always sort of like
wise beyond you yet, I must say.
I've always sort of like felt like I can sort of like, I mean, I don't know if it's good or not, but I've always been that type of person that like gives like advice to people. And then I felt like when I started Baby OK and started doing that and started like writing more about like my own like struggles and like what I'd been through, trying to see if that could like help people, not necessarily maybe being like this is what you should do, but saying like I've been in this position, it's normal if you are as well. And then I started getting like a lot of messages from people, like some quite like dark messages, and it sort of just like made me think like, wow, like I'm like acting as this like sort of like person that's like meant that people are like putting their trust in. So I started like doing a lot of like research, and I started going on a couple of like psychology courses and talks and stuff like that. I'm just trying to like inform myself more of like so like how I can actually like, you know, actually like do something and like do some good.
How did you transition from that into music industry? I mean, like, were you into music growing up and stuff?
Well, actually, very funny enough, when I was probably about 13, I was a wedding singer. And I used
No way.
Yeah, I used to play my little guitar, a little bit of Ed Sheeran A-Team.
I knew that, actually. I knew you did post some stuff online, right?
And yeah, YouTube sensation. No, I really wasn't. I wasn't very good, but I just thought, like, you know, this will be fun. So I was always really into music, and then I remember really clearly me and my mum sitting in Morrison's cafe, and she's been like, you know, it's just a hobby, babe, like, give it up.
Little did she know.
Little did she know. So yeah, then I sort of just started getting into more art, and just like was really into drawing and painting and sculpture. And then when I got my art foundation, I started getting really into like illustration and drawing, because I felt like it was a really good way to sort of like communicate my ideas. And then I was actually covering for my boyfriend at the time, was covering for his dad to be a secretary at his company. And I didn't really have any work to do other than answer the phone. So I just started like drawing people, and I was doing that. And then you found me, and you asked me to do one, and then
I did. Yeah, that was cute. Yeah. And then, well, I mean, I at the time I was just about to release my first single called Schoolgirls, which was like all about kind of like navigating toxic relationships and with like friendships and stuff and bitchiness. And yeah, my friend Hebe had showed me. Well, I knew Chloe through my friend Hebe, and I saw her website, Baby Okay, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's like, actually fits with the lyrics, and it also looks cool as fuck. So then we started working together, and yeah.
The rest is history.
When you were growing up, what was like a song that you had on repeat that kind of like stuck with you?
I mean, I was obsessed with Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne was like the soundtrack of my life.
I love that. Girls with guitars. Totally.
What was that really sad one? Like, it's a damn cold night. That one. I was like, would sit in my room and be like...
I still relate with that. It's always a damn cold night trying to figure out this. Like.
It's a damn cold night trying to figure out this life. Won't you take me by the hand? Somewhere new. I don't know who you are, but I'm with you. I'm with you.
When was like the moment that you thought, oh shit, I'm an adult? Or have you not had that yet?
No, I've definitely had that. Especially, I feel like this last like year and a half, I've done like so much growing up. I feel like when I found out like I'm an adult is like when you realise there's no more excuses. Like you can't make any excuses anymore. Like you can't be like,
Mum's not there to bail you out.
Yeah, like. Exactly. You can't be like, oh, I'm ill, I'm not gonna go to work, or like, oh, I didn't mean it, like I'm only 12. Like you like you know what I mean? Like your actions have consequences, and like that's that. Like not everyone's gonna like forgive you if you like mess up, and like that's what some sort of realisation I've had. And I feel like in this last 6 months I've done so much growing up. I just had to look at myself and been like, come on, like...
Yeah. You smashed it though. Like, I always think, like I look at you and I think how you're so young and you work so hard. Like I always look at you and think, fuck, you like have a proper job. Like it's mad, and and I feel like you're like just the same as me. It's so weird. And
you got a proper job too.
I mean, you know, not really. I just sit on a sofa and hum, and then like a few months later the song comes out. But yeah, you actually are like, you're like up all night, and I always wonder like, does that have like an effect on your mental health?
I don't know really. I feel like that's just what I've always done. Like I remember my art teacher like sitting down with me when I was young and being like, he like showed me my work, and he's like, there was like a university I wanted to get into, and he was like, if you want to go there, like all your friends are going to be going out and you're going to be doing this. Like if you want to like do this, you're just going to have to work all the time. And I think that was sort of like distilled into me into an early age of just like How
young were you when you like had that kind of mindset?
Probably like 15.
Really?
Like then I was just like,
how was that on you then, like when all your mates were going out and you were kind of like this
it's
weird creative girl who wanted to do creative things?
I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't really recommend it because like I like shut, like especially when I was in school when I was in like sixth form, I completely shut myself out. Like I was just in the art room like 24/7, like would come in, like I would like miss registration, I'd miss assembly, like I'd go straight in and I would just be there from 8 o'clock in the morning to like 7 o'clock at night, like you know, until the school closed. And like
Chloe, you need a day off.
I
man.
know. I just feel like that's just what you got to do. Like, if you're really passionate about something, and like, you just got to put the hours in, you know. But it's definitely important to give yourself breaks, and that's something I think I'm like learning to do at the moment, is to take some time away to like make sure that you like are checked with yourself and make sure you are like a person outside of like what you do. But it is hard if you like love your job so much, you know.
No, totally. I feel that. What would you tell that girl, like, now, knowing everything that you know? And I mean, I'm not saying that you have it all figured out. I don't have it figured out either. But if you could go back and tell your younger self, a note to self.
I think I would say you do figure yourself out, and I feel like some days you like wake up and you're like, this is it, like nothing is ever going to be good in the world, like everything is awful. Like you just have to like sit back and like check yourself and just be like, no, it's going to get better. And like navigating how to get out of those like bad situations, like knowing like what to do, and like learning like what's good for you and what's good for your mind to like get yourself away from that, like whether it's like going for a walk, or like, you know, going to see a friend or something. I think that's what I think I'd tell myself and my younger people, is just like do things like for your own happiness, like even if you think that like other things are more important, like you and your happiness is the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'd say to, you know, little cocoa butter huns.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, to listening to Growing Pains with me, L Devine, and my guest today, Chloe Hughes. And a special thanks to Levi for giving us their studio. Tune in next time for some more Growing Pains. Hit subscribe on Apple Podcasts, follow me on Spotify or wherever you find your favourite shows to be updated with each new episode.